Breathe, sit like a mountain, breathe in its silence, solid in freedom, breathe, rest your attention, light.
Thank you to everyone who behind the scenes and in front of the scenes and the whole team, without whom this wouldn't have happened. And thank you to absolutely everyone who's here, who's taken the time to create this space for us to be together, to practice together. So before I, sort of move into, some prepared remarks, y'all who have practiced with me before know that I have these prepared remarks, and then I kind of want to just be here with you. The idea of just like dragging in the PowerPoint that was created, at some other moment when this is where life is happening is always a little bit tentative for me. So I have the rest assured there's a program in preparation. But who are we right now? How are we right now? That's really always the most important question, right? And it's a genuine one from my heart right now. So I want to invite us all. Again, I know that there are many reasons how we're showing up on Zoom. Let's just give ourselves as much freedom as possible around that, because it's been a year or more, and we've got a lot going on. We're in families, we're dealing with a lot of stuff. But of course, if you can, and as you can, share your visuals. We love to see you. So as part of this invitation, I really want to invite us to very consciously check in, check out how we're doing. How willing are we to both see each other? How willing am I to actually see my brothers and sisters here? And how willing am I to be seen? And again, no judgment around any of this, just gentle, gentle, gentle. But I'm wanting and hoping that what we've been doing is creating the space where it's okay for us to just come as we are. Totally come as we are. Rolling out that welcome for all that we are right now. Already I'm touching my heart, because I'm right here with you. I'm coming to you, as they say, live from San Francisco, California, where we're in the morning. So I know we're this beautiful array of folks from around the globe in different places. So different times, right? All that energy is here. And everywhere we are has been going through some things, and each of us has kind of managed, but borne up. Right here in the United States, we're dealing with everything: climate change, building collapses, democracy collapsing, the ongoing reckonings we've been doing around racism and inequality. And, noticing the gap between rhetoric around that and what's actually happening. So I know in my own body, that means, I feel a lot of things every day. It's some ups and some downs. I'm grateful to be alive, first and foremost. And the practices that I'm going to share and talk a little bit more formally about in a moment are really, really, really that secret sauce that William was asking me about. How am I getting through and doing all these things? My own way of practicing, and I'm not, and it isn't cookie cutter. So I'll talk in a little bit more detail about what I mean by that. But it's at the core of it, the foundation for me. So this inquiry, how are we, is really important. And before we say anything much more, I really want to invite, y'all know sometimes I invite this sort of checking in as we're like, are we willing to see, are we willing to be seen? Can we lean in just a little bit? So if you're willing, I know we get in Zoom, we're like, I got my Zoom set up. But if you could come, we could just see your faces a little bit more. It's hard to do eye contact on Zoom. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, beautiful people. And unmute a little bit. I know you guys have been together, or you beautiful folks have been together throughout this today. So you've been hearing your voices. But if you wouldn't mind just for a moment and just unmute, give each other a kind of a shout out, a lift up.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hello,
Hello,
Rhonda.
everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hello.
Hello.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. The cacophony, the beauty of that, that harmonious dissonance of our voices together. Taking that in. So yes, thank you for the gift of your presence. Thank you for the gift of your being. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for leaning in and being willing to see and be seen. Thank you for your voices. Thank you for your hearts. So if you are willing, the theme of my remarks, some of you were with me. I did a talk with the group during the regular Sangha, the monthly Sangha, on this theme of beginning again. And today's remarks will continue and kind of continue that inquiry. Continue. I mean, because why are we continuing? Well, we're always beginning again, aren't we? If we're fortunate. We have some capacity for hope. And I don't mean that Pollyanna kind of hope. I mean the hope of our ancestors, right? And that is about accessing, my grandmother used to say, making a way out of no way, making a way out of no way, accessing that possibility, no matter what is going on out there, no matter what kind of crazy is happening. Then to me, the phrase beginning again kind of captures the spirit of that. So as we think about what it means for us, what does it mean for us to begin again? And where are the places where we, each of us, might need to be practicing that hard, juicy practice of making a way out of no way? Where's that work for you? And how can some really robust commitment to practice that lives in the world, how can that really support you in this, in meeting that edge, meeting that place where you're making that way? Making that way. Yeah. I see someone chat. My mother used to say, let me see, stay on crooked and cut straight. Stay on crooked and cut straight. Yeah, please put the mother and the grandmother wisdom in the chat, the papa wisdom in the chat. We need these, right? We begin from some place. This is why last time we were together, I introduced and shared with you a practice around looking again at where I'm from. We talked about how that question of where are you from can sometimes be presented to us land like a challenge, like a microaggression or assault, like as if you don't belong, right? And so part of beginning again might be, part of the healing aspect of that might feel like reclaiming the story of where we're from. Y'all remember that? For those of you who were there, how many of you were with me and we practiced on that? So some of you were not, and if you were not, maybe I'll share a little bit about that just to kind of bring us all into that same conversation. Let me see if I can pull up. It's a template. Are y'all able to see this template, this on where I'm from? So there was a poet, George Ella Lyon, wrote a poem, beautiful poem, I am from, or where I'm from, right? And it begins, I am from. And basically the idea is to kind of use this template and let us write our own poems about where we're from. You know, so I'm from coffee grinds that I can smell, right, in the kitchen, and the cornbread, right, that I also used to smell in my grandmother's home, right? I'm from, you know, Carolina Dairy's ice cream and, you know, bills that we weren't sure we could pay, right? So this kind of like reclaiming a smell, a taste, a plant, honeysuckle trees out front, right? My grandmother's yard. And hydrangeas, blue hydrangeas. A family tradition, right? A saying, like the ones we were just putting in the chat. I'm from making a way out of no way, right? And the other types of traditions that were coming up for folks, habits, maybe, yeah, things you were told as a child, a song or a saying as you learn, a family tradition. Maybe we can bring in our place of birth or the region, some aspect of our actual, what we know of our ancestry or even nationality, foods, and maybe the image from a story about a family member. And again, we tread lightly and with love with this, but because we know when we look back, some of it can bring up some painful memories. And the question is, can we also access some of the sacred in that, some of what was whole, some of what gave us peace and a sense of belonging? Okay. So yeah, this kind of spirit poem almost. You know, we often don't see ourselves as poets. See, poetry is something that other people do. But indeed, we are living poems. Each of us. Whether we have the words for them, know the words for them, or they just show, you know, they are who we are in the songs that we offer, my dear Fran and others, in the work that we're doing, the community, the way we support family and others. We are living poetry. And so this exercise is an opportunity to kind of access, not, you know, if it serves, or if it, yeah, can I share the template? Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can share it. I was able to share it. I'm going to share it again. And I could also share the poem that George Ella Lyon came up with when she did this, right? There are all kinds of ways that I like to support inspiring people to do this on their own. So let me see if I might be able to get this template in the chat somehow. But if we could start by just maybe pausing and giving us a moment, if you want to sort of begin, just begin a few words, a few lines, and see what comes up. We'll do it as a little practice here. Again, and see what's happening in the body as you reflect, pausing as needed, and breathing. and sitting here with this inquiry, where I am from, and claiming this inquiry and invitation to claim home in your own words, to reclaim home in your own words. But notice where the body is going right here, right now, and seeing if you can breathe in and bring in compassion and love for whatever aspects of this could be a little difficult to reflect on. Bringing in awareness of emotions and maybe stories that are coming up, and seeing what else is here, opening up that practice question. Where is the love? Where is the peace? Where is the ease? This is what we want to bring in as best we can through this practice. And yes, I will share, I will provide a link. Let me see if I'll give you a link to this. I'm gonna stop the share now. See if there's one other thing I can pull up. Well, I won't pull it up now, but what I want to do is just pause. I'll pull up another example of one of these poems because they're out there. The author of the poem originally wrote it for herself. Yeah, I think someone's already putting an attachment. Thank you. Wrote it for herself, but then realized that it could be a means of practice that could be shared, a way of helping us tell our story and retell our story, right? And you write it and then you come back and reflect on it. And maybe today you're from another place. Maybe today we're thinking about, where we're from in the neighborhoods we live in right now, right? So there's no one way to enter into this inquiry, but the invitation is to really just claim all of the different places we're from. We're not really from any one place, are we? We could do this over and over again and come up with different places and touchstones. Places, things you've thought about, things you haven't in a while, right? Maybe a while since you remembered that one tree that you love to pass on the way, to that store on the corner or that library where you first learned to read. Yeah. So letting ourselves kind of germinate in these aspects of who we are. Why? We think of mindfulness so much as like right here, right now. But in my writings, as you all know, I use the phrase, the long, broad, and deep now to talk about, as one approximation of what mindfulness is helping us access. It's the now, but it's like a long, broad, and deep now. It's really, it can be about pausing and sensing the breath as it flows in and out. You do that right here, right now. Feeling our bodies resting in the chairs that we're sitting in, however we're holding ourselves right now. Being alive, feeling the points of contact between the body and the cushion or the chair and the earth beneath that as we breathe in and out. So there's a way in which, of course, that's awareness of body and breath, core mindfulness practice. But as we breathe in and out, accessing the earth, the air, the sense of the so-called environment that we're always already a part of. This is, the words start to fail me, right? Because when I broad, breathing in and breathing out, did I create this air? Did I create this oxygen that I'm breathing in? If I had to figure out how to get carbon dioxide out of this body and into the air, y'all would be hurting. How this has happened, this miracle, absolutely no idea. If I had to put it together, right? We tried Frankenstein trying to put these bodies out there. There's still people working on it, trying to create that which something else that the grace created in us. this miracle, that miracle, your body. Magnificent. And sort of just every day, like magnificent in its everydayness. We all have a body, we're all breathing, just making a way out of no way. Miracle walking. So like when I think of long, broad, and deep now, it includes all of that. Because as we breathe, it's not just the places and spaces where we've lived, where I'm from, but it is those things. Let's honor them as best we can. Let's take the good from where we've come. We don't have to take it all, right? Some of it, we don't need to be carrying forward anymore. So this is the beginning again part. How do we discern what is it that we now want to choose to lift up, carry forward, stand on, feel grounded in? Choice. First approximation of how mindfulness can live in the world, right? With awareness that includes agency, choice, right? No accidents. We're gonna live with some intentionality from this point. We're gonna live with some intentionality from this point, not just, be pulled along by everybody else's currents. How do we want to live? But it helps to sort of know that we begin from some place, and from there we can choose, right? From more clarity about where we are, we might then more clearly choose where we want to go. Does that make sense? A little bit more clarity about where we are right now and who we want to be, what we want to allow to shine. That light within us, always there. So part of this kind of practice, I think, can help rekindle that light within you. So, reflecting, choosing the parts that remind you of your light. So that's one thing I would suggest as we look at this type of poem and this practice. Pause and allow, allow. When my voice starts doing this, it's like, y'all know, I'm with y'all with this and feeling the power of it. So pause and allow a sense of, as we reflect on where we are from, and those items and those words and the music and the sounds and the food and the heart, the hands that cared for us, the legacy, the ancestors, some of whom we know and most of whom we don't really know, but they're in us, and their energy and their dreams are in us. So if we can kind of have this sort of huge, big-heartedness around the inquiry that might show up as we do this kind of poetry work. But again, a lot of gentleness too, because whenever we kind of open the door to look, a lot might slip in there that might be a little bit difficult. So gentleness and love. Gentleness and love. Noticing again, thoughts, emotions, sensations that are part of what is here to be seen, what's coming up when we reflect, and then noticing our ability to choose. Really, really, really important. So much power in that. You get to choose now. We get to choose. So I'm going to share, I'm going to go ahead and share some of the slides, I think. Oh, before we do that, a little bit more practice, if we may, together. So just pausing together. I've got, of course, I'm gonna have a bell, but I don't know that we need a bell to practice in moments like this, because some sort of bell is ringing or else we wouldn't be here. That inner bell. So the invitation for the next few moments, right? We've turned toward a little bit of opening that inquiry. Who am I as I begin again? Who do I want to be? What do I want to amplify? What is the good in me that's just always there? The beauty in you that's always there, that you want to amplify in this moment. Let's let that be an inquiry that we just allow ourselves to sort of be with. And I'm going to invite just a few moments of silence as we allow ourselves to feel the light within, the love within. So gently guiding a bit of practice together with you, I'm going to ring this bell. So just allow the bell to support you in a little bit more of an inward turn as part of this inquiry, this practice, where I'm from as I explore this position from which to begin again, choosing the position from which to begin again today. So perhaps taking a few deeper than usual breaths for you. And if you're willing, on the out breath, allowing a sound to be released. It could be just the sound of a deeper than usual exhale coming out through the nose or the mouth. But you might also just allow your voice to make a sound of releasing, relaxing on the exhale. Gently resting as we allow the body to rest on the earth in this moment. Breathing in and out. And letting the mind rest on the body. By which I mean we let the mind rest on the sensations of perhaps just the in-breath, picking up wherever you happen to be, in-breath or out-breath. And just inquiring about the quality of your breath at this moment. Is it no right or wrong at this point? Just gently noticing, are we breathing deeply? Where can we sense the in-breath or the out-breath? Is it down in the diaphragm that our attention is resting? Perhaps we're feeling the temperature shift around the nostrils. Maybe we're feeling a gentle uplift as we breathe in. And gently feeling ourselves relax into our seat just a little bit more as we breathe out. So just allowing for the next few moments to rest in the sensations of breathing and sitting, coming home to your inherent belonging right here, right now. And if you're willing, on the next in-breath, noticing what is well within you. Again, on the in-breath, just checking in and seeing what is well. And on the out-breath, seeing if you can expand the sense of what is well within you. Maybe it's a feeling of warmth around the heart region, or brightness in the mind. This big mind opens up with a good cleansing breath. As we breathe out, see if you can expand the sense of spaciousness, warmth, ease, relaxation. Whatever is coming up for you to remind you of what is well, what is at ease, what is at peace. So as we rest in the goodness of our own being, and if there's any difficulty that is arising or has arisen on this day, as we've been sitting together, the invitation would be to place one hand or even both hands over the heart. You could just experiment with one hand over the heart, one hand just beneath the belly button. Just breathing in and breathing out. For me, sometimes if my hands are cool as they are in San Francisco right now, rubbing those hands together, even if it's warm where you are, to feel that energy of that, bringing the hands together and then placing them gently with intention on the heart, just beneath the belly button, up, and as the diaphragm meets the lower torso, breathing in and breathing out. Just bringing this sense of the will we have to alleviate our own suffering, the intention, the care, the willingness to be here for ourselves, this kindness, this love. Breathing in and breathing out. And seeing if you can really expand the wish for and the way we carry our own desire that we be well, the love in our hearts that supports us as we sit. And the invitation is to imagine expanding that care to everyone on this call in a way that includes yourself, right? So we're not leaving ourselves, but we're seeing the light within us expanding, so that if we were sitting right next to you, we would sense that your willingness to share that light within you. Again, no sense of grandiosity about this, just letting it be. It is who you are. And we just let the light shine. and resting in that. So as we draw this meditation to a close, the invitation is to kind of see if there's a word or a phrase that comes up for you around how you want to choose to be in this moment of beginning again. What's alive in you right now? When you think about what motivates you, what inspires you, what intentions you bring to bringing practice into the world and supporting others in beginning again. What inspires you? What's alive in you? Why are we here? So what's the word or phrase? Image. It's opening up to the deep messages of our body and being in this time. What is the highest and best that we can bring forward? Our original medicine for these times. So just checking in. Grateful that we've got this poem template that you can work with beyond this moment, right? You can go into breakouts. We can journal about this. Yeah, whatever's coming up this morning or today, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are in time. What came up for you during the meditation? What words or phrases come up for you as you think about? What is it that you want to carry forward from where you're from? What is it that you want to allow to guide you in the moments where you'll be beginning again, making a way out of no way? Are there images that are coming up for you? Is there a word or a phrase? And I want to invite a chat. There's a word or a phrase that's coming up. That captures how you want to be or how you are. And this can be something we reflect on. Yeah. Sovereign, interconnected. Yeah, we can be reflecting on this one. How are we? Where are we coming from? How do we want to be going forward? Pausing to reflect on it. The joy of embracing the unknown, dropping into the body, letting the mystery speak through me. Pausing in awe of that great mystery that we are. That everyday mystery that we are. Authentic, don't shrink. Yeah, don't puff up, be the sacred self. I just saw a beautiful little face pop in and pop out over there, Max. I want to be a light. Yes, you are that light. Melissa, you are that light for myself and for others. Yeah, carrying that forward. Be that light. Word that came up, came to me, totem pole. Wow, totem. Yeah, very opposite. Yeah, but let it be. Let's just let, again, open up that space. So much of how oppression and anxiety lives in us, lives in reducing us to somebody else's notion of who we are, what we can do, what we can be. If our mindfulness practices are not opening us up to our own mystery, then we're missing something. Decalcify my heart. Yeah. Yes. This I think of as like personal justice practice. You all know in this book I talk about this idea of personal justice, this practice as personal justice. I was heartened to realize that one of just reflecting on some of the teachings of my early teachers and seeing an articulation of reparations starting with ourselves. People talk about reparations and justice work and all of that. If we can't repair here first, decalcify the heart is just one way. Yeah, images. No one thing is coming forward, that's fine. I want to be that stick that cannot be broken. Absolutely, the word open, beacon of love, profound love. Yes. Yeah, is it okay for us to name our highest aspirations for this time? That we be that love that we know we are. Ferocious joy, yes. Is it okay to name and claim that we just be these things? Again, what is oppression if not constantly reducing us, disconnecting us from the light that we are? We're reclaiming this light today. We're reclaiming this light today. We're reclaiming our joy. Unveiling. Yeah. Is it okay to allow ourselves to unveil, to unmask a little bit? I say a little bit because I'm a lawyer and law professor, a Black woman, grew up in America. So I know about being masked and being veiled. I know that I don't always feel safe. I don't even always feel safe. I'm just name it, even among my, people of color. Like, it's not like you're automatically, or as I say with my partner, automatically. Make up words all the time. It's not like we automatically feel safe because we're around brown folk or whatever, right? No. Can we name and claim, name the truth, speak some truth here? This invitation to just be honest and be real and actually have the courage and the integrity to be a space where the truth can be spoken and to create such spaces for each other. This to me is really a part of the sacred work of what we're doing here at this retreat. How do we access within ourselves the space we need to heal? And how can we offer that to each other? And what are the barriers against being there? And are the barriers sometimes about not really trusting, knowing folks really and where they're coming from, and and no judgment around that, because we've all been wounded. It's a gift for us to try to come together like this, not having been together before really, and not knowing we can trust and all of those things. It's not easy. It's my experience easier in some ways to do when we're together in person. But even that takes some doing. So just, I'm just appreciating that you're here and we're working with it as best we can. Yeah. So if we can just honor and respect wherever we are and however we are is okay in this moment. I think for us as people of color, we have suffered a lot, so much, not only as against so-called white supremacy, and I say so-called because there's so many different dominator dynamics. It's not just about whiteness, we know. There's all kinds of different types of oppressions and all kinds of different ways that we have experienced suffering in the world. For me, it came in my own household first and foremost. You know, those of you, you know, who are familiar with some of my writings, I've talked about growing up in a house where there was abuse, right? So, I know from my own experience that the pain of being human can come to us around people, from people who look just like us. Let's be real about that. So we don't want to this healing work that we're about. For me, I think it's lifelong. I believe healing is this lifelong process. And so if we can bring just a little bit of extra love and kindness in, you all know, someone did I don't know if I shared this with any of you all before, but I recently was doing a teaching just on my book. And one of my co-teachers said she had done a search for the word compassion in this book using, Kindle or whatever online book version. Because she's reading it and this feeling of compassion was coming up. And she said, sort of to my surprise, that the word has shown up over 730 times, and the book is only like 300 and some pages. So this means we're talking a lot of compassion. But the basic thing is the feeling of compassion comes through, and it's part of the core of my work, partly because it seems the only right response to all of the suffering. And by compassion, I mean just the humble will to alleviate suffering, starting with myself. All of it. All of it. That's why I'm not only talking about race and racism right now. Because let's just bring it all in the room and let it all be presented for its healing. Because we know that if, we'd be fortunate if all we had to heal from were race and racism, right? Or racism and all of that. There's all kinds of different painful experiences we have to heal from, many of us. But we can't. I'm here because I know we can. I am here, alive, making that way out of no way, as my ancestors did, as my grandmother did, who was my first teacher. So as we close our time together soon, that invitation is to really sort of break open the notion of mindfulness in a way that can really allow it to support us in all of our healing and in shining the magnificent light that we are right in this life. Because, the planet is not playing. The planet is trying to tell us, do this sooner rather than later. Wake up, make the most of the moments that we have and the love and light that we are now. Right? And that doesn't mean go out and be and do, right? If we need, what we most need is to sort of rest and repair, heal. But it is saying, I think, this is our time. This is our time. So how do we make the most of this time? That's what I think mindfulness is really, really, really about. And beginning again, the very last part of my book is devoted to this idea of liberation as a part of the practice, right? Grounding in our practices. So sitting, meditation, compassion, metta practice, right? Grounding in the practices for ourselves, interpersonal practices, mindful communication, listening and speaking to each other, which we may do in breakouts now, allowing you to reflect on some of these themes, right? Creating a way of listening to each other so that you can speak more of your truth, right? Being that space around which the truth can be spoken and speaking to each other from that place of real truth as best we can. So the practice is supporting us in deepening our being here, personal practice, then that interpersonal practice, how are we with each other? Supporting us in engaging in the work that we do. So taking it off the cushion, taking it off of the mat, if you will, and making change, right? Working, I'm a law professor, working with folks, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's teaching or serving in some way, even just taking care of family. How we are is where the mindfulness practice shows up. How we are with each other, how we are with this beautiful planet. How we are with these moments where we get to choose how to be. That's where the mindfulness practice might show up, right? So grounding, seeing more clearly what there is to see, being with it with more courageous robustness, like with the fierceness of your life, doing what we can do with this life that we have, and doing all of that in a way that liberates. That's what this book has really been about, right? And so in the last part, in the part, and again, they inter-are, right? It's not like you ground and then you, by part 5, maybe you liberate. As you're meditating, you're experiencing the liberation sometimes. We're bringing it into how we see things, right? So they are all these parts sort of inter-are. That's what the practice invites. But yes, in the last section, I have a subsection called what? Beginning again. And it's enlivening my next project, right? So at the end of this inquiry, it's like, yeah, we heal, we look at race, we look at all the harms that we've suffered. For what? So that we can meet this moment with a freshness, with a fierceness, with the love, perhaps that we didn't receive, but that we're here to give. Beginning again. So as I close, just want to just sort of invite you all to stay close to that marrow bone of your own, where it is you're working to make a way out of no way. That looks different for all of us. Where it is that you're finding strength in these practices, that looks different for all of us. Where you're feeling creative. For me, it's been painting a little bit. It might be singing, it might be dancing. Give yourself the freedom to play, to have fun. Don't miss the joy. Don't miss the beauty of this life. And allow your practices to be broken open, to allow the bigness of who you are, this brilliant light, to guide you, to begin again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can everyone please unmute and give a round of applause to Rhonda, send us some love.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You, thank you.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you,
so
Rhonda.
much.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rhonda.
Very much.
Share your poem, share whatever has come up for you all, please, in the chats or in the breakouts. Feel free to email me. I'd love to hear anything that's up. But thank you all for being here and for having me support you today.
Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Much love to you.
Mm.
Much love.
I just want to say especially thank
It's
you
17
for
hours.
17 hours. A mysterious sign. I just really feel that your transmission was very expansive and just felt like a real movement of love. And it really encouraged me to really deepen into my body, into the now. And what you've just said around, you know, the work we're doing of healing racism is so we can meet this moment fully now and live now and play now. And that just really crystallized it for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.